Good morning, friends. We'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. We're expecting a few more students to join. This is not like a regular class, wherein if you get delayed, then your professor will say, now don't enter in my class. So this for encourage students and but then timely joining is always preferable. Good morning, friends. We'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. We are expecting a few more students to join. This is not like a regular class, wherein if you get delayed, then your professor will say, now don't enter in my class. So this is for encourage students, and but then timely joining is always preferable. Yeah, I think we can start the session because. Good morning, friends. We'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. So, we're expecting a few more students to join. Good morning, all of you. I'm Vivek Abhyankar. I'm welcoming you all on behalf of. This is not like a regular class, wherein if you get delayed, then your professor will say, now don't enter in my class. So this for encourage students, and but then timely joining is always. I would like to brief you about ISSE Mumbai. What is ISSE Mumbai and what are the activities? Yeah, I think we can start the session because. Good morning, friends. We'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. Student chapters. We're expecting a few more students to join. Good morning, all of you. I'm Vivek Abhyankar. I'm welcoming you all on behalf of. This is not like a regular class, wherein if you get delayed, then your professor will say, now don't enter in the class. So this for encourage students, and but then timely joining is always. I would like to brief you about ISSE Mumbai. What is ISSE Mumbai and what are the activities? Society like. Yeah, I think we can start the session. Because, good morning, friends. We'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. We're expecting a few new students to join. Good morning, all of you. I'm Vivek Abhyankar. I'm welcoming you all on behalf of. This is not like a regular class, wherein if you get delayed, then your professor will say, now don't enter in the class. So this for encourage students, and but then timely joining is always. I would like to brief about ISSE Mumbai. What is ISSE Mumbai and what are the activities? Society like. Yeah, I think we can start the session because. Good morning, friends. We'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. We're expecting a few new students to join. Good morning, all of you. I'm Vivek Abhyankar. I'm welcoming you all on behalf of. This is not like a regular class, wherein if you get delayed, then your professor will say, now don't enter in the class. So this for encourage students, and but then timely joining is always. I would like to brief about ISSE Mumbai. ISSE Mumbai and what are the activities? Society like. Yeah, I think we can start the session because. Good morning, friends. We'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. We're expecting a few new students to join. Good morning, all of you. I'm Vivek Abhyankar. I'm welcoming you all on behalf of. This is not like a regular class, wherein if you get delayed, then your professor will say, now don't enter in the class. So this for encourage students, and but then timely joining is always. I would like to brief about ISSE Mumbai. ISSE Mumbai and what are the activities? Society like. Yeah, I think we can start the session because. Good morning, friends. We'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. We're expecting a few new students to join. Good morning, all of you. I'm Vivek Abhyankar. I'm welcoming you all on behalf of. This is not like a regular class, wherein if you get delayed, then your professor
will say now which is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is always ISSE member I think we can start the session because morning friends will wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. And we're expecting two new students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek Abhinkar. I'm the English all this is not a regular class, wherein if you get delayed then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is always ISSE member we can start the session because morning friends will wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. And we're expecting two new students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek Abhinkar. I'm the English all this is not a regular class, wherein if you get delayed then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is always ISSE member we can start the session because morning friends will wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. And we're expecting two new students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek Abhinkar. I'm the English all this is not a regular class, wherein if you get delayed then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is always ISSE member we can start the session because morning friends will wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. And we're expecting two new students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek Abhinkar. I'm the English all this is not a regular class, wherein if you get delayed then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is always ISSE member we can start the session because morning friends will wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. And we're expecting two new students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek Abhinkar. I'm the English all this is not a regular class, wherein if you get delayed then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is always ISSE member we can start the session because morning friends will wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. And we're expecting two new students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek Abhinkar. I'm the English all this is not a regular class, wherein if you get delayed then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is always ISSE member we can start the session because morning friends will wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. And we're expecting two new students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek Abhinkar. I'm the English all this is not a regular class, wherein if you get delayed then the professor will say now this is don't get So it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is always morning friends, we'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. Students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek, a beginner. I'm the more English all this is regular class, you know, wherein if you get really then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is morning friends, we'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. Students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek, a beginner. I'm the more English all this is regular class, you know, wherein if you get really then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is morning friends, we'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. Students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek, a beginner. I'm the more English all this is regular class, you know, wherein if you get really then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is morning friends, we'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. Students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek, a beginner. I'm the more English all this is regular class, you know, wherein if you get really then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is morning friends, we'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. Students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek, a beginner. I'm the more English all this is regular class, you know, wherein if you get really then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is morning friends, we'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. Students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek, a beginner. I'm the more English all this is regular class, you know, wherein if you get really then the professor will say now this is don't get so it is for encourage students and but then timely joining is morning friends, we'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. Students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek, a beginner. regular class, wherein if you get delayed, then the professor will say, now this is don't get it. So he's more encourage students and but then timely joining is always morning friends, we'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll resume for the session. I'm expecting new students to join. Good morning all of you. I'm Vivek Abhinkar. This is regular class, wherein if you get delayed, then the professor will say, now this is don't get it. So he's more
We talk about the highways, you have the bridges, foot-over bridges, we have tunnels, we have waterfronts, we need to build airports, we need to build railway tracks, railway stations, we have to have harbors, jetties, so many things. So for supporting any transportation infrastructure, we need to build a lot of structures. And again, civil engineers are responsible for doing all this commendable work for the society. If you look at the power sector,
please on your
Sir, I think you are not audible.
Hello, Wadarkar sir, please unmute yourself.
sorry. Is it okay now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, sorry for the interruption. So again, I was talking about the buildings, different type of structures are required. As I said, residential buildings, commercial structures, educational institutions, hospitals, industrial structures, assembly structures, you have sport complexes, we have different shopping malls and complexes. So all the buildings are again required for the society. And again, civil engineers are mainly responsible in doing the designs, execution, and maintenance of these type of structures. So I think civil engineering is a vast subject, really speaking, because a lot of things are required to be done by civil engineers. So you look at this structure, maybe different civil engineering project, any engineering project you can imagine or you can think about. So the basic steps are required will be you need to have some kind of planning for the structure. That depends on the input given by maybe the client or the architect sometimes, depending on the project requirements. Then after that, initial inputs, what you need to do is basically you have to design the structure. What is optimum utilization of materials, economy, and safety. So these are the again important aspects to be considered during the design stage of the structure. So all are very, very important. We need optimal structures which are definitely economical. At the same time, we have to have safe structures. And now most important point that is again coming in our latest code is the durability of the structure. How long the structure can survive. That is again most important. So longevity of the structure and green building is another big subject now that is coming in. So that is also very important to reduce the carbon footprint for any construction. Once the design is performed, then the next step would be the actual execution of the design. So here again, lot of input is required from the civil engineers. You need to supervise the work for the quality control, for the scheduling of the projects, for managing the materials and all. So all the activities are very, very important. All the activities during the construction are also very critical. Unless you do a good design, you can't build a good structure. But construction also equally important for the life of the structure. If you construct it badly, then of course you will face problems in the early life of the structure. So that's how I think we have to look at the older structures which are still standing good and serving the society. So where we are going wrong with the modern structure, that is another topic. I think we'll discuss that also in some of the webinars. So after you construct and hand over the structure to the client, the next part start the maintenance phase of the structure. So during the life of the structure should be serviceable and it should be properly maintained in time so that your running costs would reduce. So that is another important aspect. So these are the four stages we have to just look at any of the structure like planning, designing, construction phase and the maintenance phase. And after the useful life of the structure is over, finally what you need is you have to demolish the structure, right? And again reconstruct the structure. In that again we have to see whether what material we can salvage out of this. So again we have to look for green material which can be again recycled or reused. So that is another topic we have to just think about whether what is the maximum amount of material. Like in steel structures, the salvage value is again good, but in concrete structure, unfortunately, the salvage value is not there. But again, we have to again recycle those concrete aggregates also. So that is one of the things one has to think about. Okay, so that is one part. So I will just touch upon briefly about every aspect. So in the planning, what is required is basically project planning. Then you have to just see the cost benefit analysis and viability of the project, whether really the project is viable or the cost benefit tells that okay, this is to be constructed. So unless unless you work out this cost viability, then the project cannot be undertaken. So you have to just of course look in the cost aspects also. Then the requirement, as I said, requirement of the client. What is the objective? What is the aim basically for the structure, any kind of structure? Then the space planning required. Generally, in some of the structures, we need to help of our architect friends also to do the basic planning for any kind of structure, like mostly in the building industry. So then the layout is prepared by the planners, of course. And then you can define the phases of development, how you want to develop that particular part, maybe in phases. And then, of course, necessary approvals and permissions are required depending on the type of structure you are going to plan and design. So under different, maybe the municipal corporations or different authorities who are going to be the planning authorities for that particular region, you need to get permission for that based on the local bylaws, of course, for the planning and all. So once the planning is done, that part is over, then next part comes about the design. So in the design, as I said, the architectural design, maybe the functional planning is most important. Then compliance with the various development control rules and regulations. So that needs to be again looked into. And then finally, one has to decide what kind of material and finishes we are going to use in the structure. So that needs to be specified in the beginning of the project. So what material we are going to use in a particular project, what kind of concrete, what kind of grade of concrete, what grade of steel we are going to use. So that needs to be defined in the beginning. So that is done, then the structural design is the next step that comes. So most important part is based on the architectural layouts or the final layout plans. Structural engineer has to decide the arrangement of the structural frames, basically the beams and column arrangement. That is called a framing plan in general. Let it be the RCC structure or it can be the steel structure. This framing plan is most important. You have to pay maximum attention to this part. Otherwise, people nowadays feel that okay, you have a lot of kind of software available. Maybe ETAB, you have STAT and other packages. So whatever data input you give, you get output and then you just throw it to the construction team. That is not the case. You have to plan the structure properly. So unless you make a good framing plan, the structure is not going to be a good structure. So software cannot make your structure good. So the planner is very important in planning the location of your shear walls, maybe the columns, orientation of the column. Now code has given you the guideline for this. All these codes are getting revised now. The seismic codes 1893 and all, even IS 456 and IS 800, those are also under revision. So lot of I think stringent clauses are coming in the new code of practice because it is addressing the main cause of safety of the structures. So because safety we have to do this. So that's why I said again structural framing plan is the most important part, which often is neglected in many cases. So which is not a good thing to do for certain restraints or the constraint, maybe because the plot dimensions, because the architectural requirement and so on. But we should not compromise on the structural framing plan. The structure has to be robust to be able to carry the intended load, maybe dead load, live load, and all the lateral loads like wind and seismic loads. So then only I think we should have a good structure which will last long. So then that involves again the load calculations for the structure. Then you have the analysis options. Earlier days there were no computers available, so people used to do maybe the slide rules or the calculators only for doing the designs. In my earlier days also, I used to have only calculator, and then computer were not there. So we used to use the deck 20 computer, mainframe computer it was called. So there is a punch card system was available. But now the system is been advanced. You have the desktops, laptops, very advanced system. So analysis is not a problem at all. You get good type of advanced software packages. Only thing is you should use it very carefully. And the interpretation of results is also equally very important. You can't just take the data for granted, whether it is correct or not, that you have to justify and understand. So the design engineer plays very important role in understanding the analysis results. So after the analysis is done, then the next step will be the design of the structure, maybe the steel structure or maybe the concrete structure, and then detailing and drawings. I think that is again most important part. We need to detail the structure properly. In RCC also, we need to draw every beam, every column with all the bar arrangements so that the site people can understand exactly what the intent of the designer is. People still nowadays, I see a lot of people still making the schedules only, writing the bars and the size of member, that's all. And then the detailing is left to the fitter or the carpenter at the site. So whatever they feel good, that is being done. So that is not a good practice. So we need to make a detailed design drawing also for different type of structures, maybe RCC or even steel structures. And then there are, of course, this is the structural design part. Apart from that, there are again different services required in the structure. You need a fire safety, similarly another HVAC system, plumbing system, lighting. So all these services requirements are also there. So we need to design the structure for all these things, and then we have to plan for the passage, ducting and all to pass through in our structure. So that is also very important. If you don't plan it earlier, then people start breaking the beams, then coring the columns. That is again very dangerous thing for the structure. We should not damage the structural steel frame in any way. So I think that is the most important part. But unless you plan it in advance, then people may damage the structure. So we have to be careful about that aspect as well. So services also is very important, but of course it should be planned properly. So that is I think most important part I would like to just highlight. Then during the tender stage, what is being done basically is a quantity estimation that is done at the tender stage based on the basic design or detailed design. Ideally, it should be a detailed design only, and then it should be a package by itself that, okay, you have everything with you, and then you build a structure. But most of the time that happens very rarely. And people will start with the basic quantity with thumb rule assumptions, and then they don't make the final drawings also. And as the project progresses and the construction starts, then someone say that, okay, I want to change this room there, that room here, I want to just change the plan here, I want to omit the column or add the column, and then it becomes a mess at the site. So it is not a good idea to make the changes once the construction is started. So it is always preferable to have the complete design set ready, all the drawings ready before you start the project or before even you tender the project. So some of the, I think, good projects it is followed, but I think for all the structure we should follow this aspect. The specification plays very important role for getting good structure. So whatever you want based on your requirements, the material specification, the quality specification, the life of the structure, I think should be also mentioned in the tender stage also and in the material specifications also. Because if I'm looking for the structure to last for 100 years, I should use the material which will be lasting that much time. Otherwise, I will not get that life of 100 years, of course. So there are a lot of things we have to again consider for this type of aspects as well. So tender preparation is again a very important part. Then there are general conditions of contract, there are special conditions of contract, and there is a bill of material that is given in the tender. Just an estimate quantity so that the quantum of work should be known to the contractor. and along with that some drawings are given. So I feel we should have full set of ready drawings or complete drawings along the tender stage, so that there is no variation of course afterwards, and there is no then disputes also. So these are the just outline I am just making for the students and all. Everyone knows about this, what are the stages required. And when the actual construction starts, of course, we have the project planning team over there, which will do the actual monitoring of the project during the execution stage. So that is again called PMC or project management team at site. So they will be again employing different kind of tools or the software for that. Maybe they are using CPM PERT, bar charts. They have to do the cash flow analysis. They have to tell the client that okay, what is the progress stage of the structure, how much has been spent already, and what are the milestones those are achieved, and also these are all the things coming under the project management subject, and the team handling that site activities will look into all these aspects. And the supervision I think is the most important part. In that you need to have good checklists also for major activities. Okay, there are some poor cards, so I think some of the good companies, good firms, they follow all these practices. So it has to be a checklist, good checklist for any checking of the any of the items, so that you will not miss any of the things. Okay, so there are good podcasts, those will be signed by the contractors and the supervising team both, then only you can start the concrete. And there is a quality assurance manual also available. Okay, so you have to follow these with this. Material testing also is specified. What is the frequency of the testing you have to just follow, maybe for your concrete, for the steel, and for other material that is used during the construction. And of course, you have to have the compliance with all the approved structure and architectural drawings. So the site team should see that the construction is done as per the provided or final drawings for the construction. So they should adhere to the structure and architectural drawings, of course, should not deviate from that. If there is any deviation required, that should be of course reported to the consultants, maybe the architects and the structural engineers, to make any changes if it is of course required during the execution of the structure. And then last stage, as I said, is the maintenance and repair part. Once the structure is constructed and handed over to the client, then periodic monitoring is again becoming very, very critical and important. And the inspection and testing, of course, maybe during the construction and after that also, when you do some kind of structural audit kind of thing after some few years, maybe after 15 years or 30 years. Now, different, I think, corporation bylaws talk about this. And I think even the National Building Code also now is talking about this. What is the minimum inspection period and what kind of inspection you have to carry out, what kind of non-destructive testing can be again carried out. So I think there is some code that is also coming up for the repair and maintenance. So timely maintenance is very, very important, and that is key for the long life of our structures. And then if the structure deteriorates, then of course there is no option but to again repair the structure. So after certain interval, we need to repair the structure. Sometimes we need to strengthen the structure also. If you want to make the structure code compliance as per today's requirements, if the structure design say 20 years back, maybe the code at that time which was prevalent that was followed, but now the code has become stringent, and if you want to comply your structure to the today's requirement, then of course sometimes you need some kind of strengthening to be done with the structure also. So along the repair, then some kind of strengthening also is being taken. So say in general, in short, what I am saying is basically there is a lot of scope for civil engineers. I would like just like to summarize and mention the fields where civil engineers can work and what are the activities again of course they can perform, where are the opportunities lying. So where are the opportunities where the students can go after this, their graduation or civil engineering course. So you have different possibilities, you have different possibilities and options available. You can go into any of the government services. You can of course join some private firms for jobs for civil engineers. You can join of course academics, different institutions, engineering colleges. You can go into the administration. You can go into consultancy work, or you can go into site supervision activity like PMC and all. So these are all the opportunities available for the civil engineers where you can go as per your of course liking. And to continue with this, of course, what you can do is survey and mapping, another good big field nowadays. Now drones are being used for this survey work. Earlier we used to have only the dumpy level for our survey, then you have theodolite and all. But nowadays, with the help of drone, actually you can take the measurements and map the entire area. So different software is available which can convert that survey into the 3D pictures also directly. So that is another opportunity for young engineers. Again, it has gone. One moment. No, it is okay. It is working.
Yeah, we are able to hear you, sir. Please continue.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. So survey and mapping is another field. I said the software, another big field wherein you have different type of civil engineering software available. So you can go into development of software or expert in software use. Then you can be a developer. Of course, we can develop certain area or certain buildings, certain complexes. So that also is another opportunity. You can have a lot of construction activities going on. So in different sectors and different fields, you can do the construction activity, of course. And then nowadays, another important field that is emerging is repair and rehabilitation, because the other big cities and all, lot of work has been already done for construction. So we have the buildings which are again aging. So we need to again take care of those buildings. So repair is again required. Maybe waterproofing is a big problem because there is a leakage happening in older buildings and structures. The plaster is giving away. So we have to again look into that. Maybe there is a rusting and corrosion problem. Maybe in the coastal area, which is more predominant than the dry area. Okay, so that is another important aspect for civil engineers to look into. Liaison in another field again. Some people, some engineers are doing the liaison work. So basically doing the basic planning and getting the plans approved from various organizations and various corporations. So that liaison is another field. So there also civil engineers are working, maybe along with the architects in some places. And then you can manufacture of your building material. That is another field. So you need different type of materials during your building construction. So manufacturing those materials are also very important. We need a lot of maybe AAC blocks nowadays, which are required for our building construction activity. We need a lot of doors and windows. We need different type of walls. Maybe your drywall construction is also picking up. So different building materials and construction materials someone can look into supply chain of that also. So that is another, I think, bigger aspect and opportunity available for all civil engineers. Then what you can look around, you have a lot of again treatment plants or different treatment plants, sewage treatment plants are to be built for different areas, for different corporations. So then you need to have refineries, you have the transportation infrastructure, you have the oil storage structures, you have power generation structures, maybe transmission line structures. There is research, another field which our academician friends and our professors are doing. So that is another challenging and good interesting field wherein you can do research on different topics. So again, I appeal to all the students and the faculty members. So let us understand what type of topics you are right now handling with the students for the research purpose, maybe for MTech or PhD students. So we would like to have interaction more about these topics. And industry also facing some problems. So we need industry to come out with the requirement, what they really want. So student can take research on those topics, and that will definitely help industry to mitigate the problem and find solutions to some of the problems what we are facing. Valuation is another important part. Again, some people are into valuation of the assets. Generally, people feel that only architects are doing the valuation, but no, all engineers are also involved into valuation. Maybe mechanical engineers are maybe doing the machine valuation. Civil engineers are involved into your structural and civil quantum of valuation part. And then there is arbitration, another again important part. When there is some dispute that occurs in the tender conditions or during any project, arbitration again will be required. So there are also a lot of scope for all the civil engineers in all these fields. The civil engineers can take part definitely in all these aspects, in all these points. So if I look at it, so civil engineers are everywhere, I would say. Anywhere I just see around, everywhere, I think civil engineers are definitely required. So I feel that it is most active branch, even in the institution of engineers also. I call it IEI. So if you look at the profile of IEI members and the activities they carry out, I think civil engineers are doing the maximum activity over there also. And again, I make a list of those. Again, government job, you have the competitive exams also. Many civil engineers have become IS officers or police officers also. So of course, it is based on your liking. Wherever you want, you can go. Software is another good field. Project planning is there, monitoring is there. So I imagine anything wherever civil engineers can go. So I think every field is available for civil engineers. So a lot of good opportunities. But even after this, there is a scarcity of good civil engineers in the society. I still heard from a lot of developers and a lot of planners that okay, we don't get good civil engineers. And structures are becoming more and more complex nowadays, as you know. And then of course we have to just be very careful about the time required to complete the calculation and analysis. We have to see that the structure is economical and of course safe. So all these parameters are very, very critical. But again, the structures, those are becoming very, very challenging nowadays because the complexity involved Maybe you need a lot of floating columns and floating girders are required because there is a change in the framing plan at different levels. You need a basement parking. Then you may be having some kind of podiums, and above that you have your residential tower coming up. So that's how the buildings are becoming very, very complex. So we need to use another advanced techniques and software also to analyze those type of structures. So the tools are also of course required. But again, finally, I would say that whatever tools are available, very, very important. The decision making is very important. So again, all our knowledge is required for a civil engineer. Just knowing the design is not sufficient. We should know the problem faced by our site people, problem faced by our planners, problem faced during the maintenance stage of the building. So based on these inputs, again, we need to improve in our all the aspects of engineering. So all round civil engineer, I would say that he should have background of theoretical knowledge from the college. Then he should understand the design and drawing also. After that, he should have some site experience. He should understand something about the project management also. So that is a good civil engineer who knows everything, and all these aspects should be touched upon. I would not say that you will get experience in all the fields, but at least you should have some idea about all these aspects also. If you work in any of the fields, but knowledge of other fields also very required. And again, the knowledge of latest technology in different measuring instruments, testing equipments, site machinery also, because there are a lot of machines now coming up for our site work also. So we should be conversant with those latest technologies and the software tools. Those are available nowadays. So then only we can update our knowledge continuously and then face the challenges which are again coming at every now and then. So for that, I would again appeal that we have to maximum participants should be there in the technical webinars or seminars or workshop. That is basically for our knowledge enhancement. So we need to keep learning all the time. Whatever we learned in our college days long back may not be valid today, right? So we need to update our knowledge continuously. So that can happen through maybe lectures, some technical webinars. You have to just, I think, visit some good websites also. You have to search. Now, internet is again a good tool. I look at it as a good library of technical literature. So whatever you want to know, you can just Google that, and in a fraction of a second, you get the information related to that topic. So I think students should again try to attend maximum number of maybe workshops, seminars, lectures, wherever it is possible, apart from your, I think, college and curriculum. So you have to study again the BIS guidelines also. So there is National Building Code that is also under revision nowadays. So that is expected to come out maybe this year. So there is a major revision happening in this National Building Code also. So National Building Code right now it is 2016. So this 2025 version is going to come. So a lot of, I think, input has been already given to BIS. It was under wide circulation and now they are finalizing all the topics. So student must know about this course also, because when you come into actual practice, then you need to know the guidelines given by Bureau of Indian Standard. Different materials guidelines are there, design guidelines are there, okay, execution guidelines are available. So we should understand this. I don't know whether it is the part of your curriculum or not, but I think some of the course only are, I think, maybe taught maybe as 4, 5, 6, and 800. But apart from that, there are a lot of other courses also which are required in the actual practice. So students should be aware of this. And nowadays, a good thing is earlier, if I remember my days in college, we used to buy this course from BIS offices. And as a student, then we used to get 50% discount on that. But now BIS has made all the course free of cost to all Indian citizens. So anyone can log into BIS website. You can just log in there, register there, maybe as a student or the professional, and then you can download the copy of your own code. So now you don't have to spend any single rupee for buying any code. So I urge or appeal to all the students that definitely you visit the BIS website also. You just download the codes which are of your interest and study those codes. Definitely it will help you. And of course, you need to know the local bylaws also for the regional development. So wherever you want to design or execute the project, so you have to abide by the local regulations over there. So we have to be in touch with all these latest developments so that we are with the time. So there are different knowledge centers available. If you visit our site, as rightly said by Vivek, so site address I have just written it here for the information. It is www.issse.org.in. I think in is missing there. So this is a website. We try to put in a lot of information over there. So where is the knowledge available? So there are some good links also available. So there are some good institutions. Those are working for civil engineers. So the some of the names I have just put in for the screen, just for your information. But there are much more people, much more institutions working for civil engineering. So you can have a list over there, or you can get it on the internet as well. So kindly visit our website, and then there is good amount of technical literature also available. So whatever has been, I think, discussed during the workshops and the webinars and seminars, we try to put that in the form of seminar proceedings. So some kind of printed material also available, and some kind of, we come out with a technical journal. There's a quarterly journal that is available, and on the website also we have all these issues. So those who are really interested, they can go to the website and refer to that. Another some reference examples also we are just adding on our website. So there are good institutions and good publications are also available from American Concrete Institutes. There are technical publications by Ambuja Cements. There are very good booklets. Those are published by Mr. Dorady, I think during the last decade. So he has come out with, I think, 150 plus publications on only civil engineering aspects, on materials design, outstanding structures, and so on. So that is also very, very interesting. So students should have a look at that also. And of course, there are some good websites also. One of that is National Information for Earth Engineering, NIC it is called. So this is related to earthquake engineering. This is done by IIT Kanpur, Dr. Sudhir Jain and CVR Murthy. Those were the person behind this. Website is also a very good website. Good literature is available. Those who are interested in learning about earthquake engineering. So we have just made some of the list of the websites available. So those who are interested, they can visit that and then have a look at that and get some more information, more technical information. We would like to update the website also. So for that purpose also, I again appeal that you can come out with the information which you have, which you want share with us or other fraternity of civil engineers. So you can just write to us, or you can just suggest something that we can add up. This you can have the references from this time. So this is some of the, I think, information, technical information is available that we have tried to put on our website also. So thank you very much. This is what this is all from my side right now. It is just an overview. I thought we should have discussed with the students. So we would like to have it interactive. So I would like to come out to students to understand the feedback from the students and the faculty members if they have any in general. Okay, thank you very much.
Wow, such a wonderful holistic view on civil engineering and venues we could see. And especially, I think it was wonderful overview for students and as well as faculty members. And I would request students to ask questions. The session is open for you. If you are having any questions, please feel free to ask.
You can unmute and then talk, or you can put something in the chat also. I think Vivek can have a look at the chat box also.
Yeah, definitely.
Any suggestions from the students and faculty, that also we welcome. If you have got any suggestions for the topics for discussions and what you want to know, what you want to share, that is also good. Or you can, of course, mail it to our ISSE mail ID also. Maybe you can put the ISSE mail ID in the chat box so that everyone can note it down. It is ISSE HQ, @hotmail.com.
Yeah, and one more thing is Mayur will also share the feedback form about today's session. So please find out time to give your frank feedback that what are the new topics you would like to see, and what is a learning which take key learnings which you had from today's session. And if you have anything where ISSE can help your college or you as a student or your friends, please feel free. Please give that feedback to us, which will motivate as well as will give us an idea that what is your exactly problem. Because unless you give us feedback, we won't be able to understand. Questions? Any questions? Please feel free. Please ask the questions. If you don't ask questions, then we can't get where are you placed after attending today's session. So please ask questions. The session is open for you.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Morning.
Yeah, please.
Uh, can you explain me about the tender stage for big structures in short way, sir?
I couldn't get your question. What is the question?
Uh, can you explain about tender stage for structures like bridges, dams in short ways,
Industrial structures you are saying?
like bridges, dams in short ways?
Vivek, could you understand what is exactly
Yeah,
asking?
Mr. Mohammad Nazim has asked a question. He's asking, sir, can you brief us about the bridges, structure, dams, and structures like that?
Yeah, of course, we will be having, I think, separate sessions for different type of structures, like say tunnel construction, maybe bridge construction. Those are the topic of discussion by itself. So I think in a small presentation, it cannot be elaborated all the type of structure. But of course, yes, we will try to address that by different experts in the respective field, maybe the bridges or jetties type of structures, right? The highways, harbors, tunnels. So they can share their case studies, right? What are the basic things to be looked into? What are the codes to be referred for designing this type of structures? And what are the challenges they are facing? Okay. So that can be definitely discussed. So we will come out with some case studies. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, right.
Yeah, some of the participants have posted a question in chat box. Mayur, I am unable to access the chat box. Can you read out for me, please?
Sir, I have also same problem, sir.
Okay, there is some question about IS 456. I am curious about what all the changes and updates will be there in new IS 456. Please convey this message to speaker.
I think IS 456 is under revision right now. The draft circulation is over, and I think they are finalizing the code now. If someone wants really what is going to be in IS 456, one thing I would tell you that it will be a big thick volume now. I think there will be much more number of pages, maybe around I think 500 pages or something like that. So it is a big book now. It has become. If you really want to see the draft, you can I think visit BIS website. There the draft is available. You can download that and have a look at that, and you can compare with the earlier code. There are a lot of changes happening in IS 456. Mostly they are putting thrust on I think the material side as well as the durability part of the structure. So that is I think more emphasis and safety and longevity of the structure. So a lot of I think clauses have been added on these aspects. High grade concrete also has been addressed over there now, because we are going up to IS M70, 80, 90, 100 concrete also. So that is also has been referred into this new core. So there are a lot of changes in new IS 456.
Yeah, I think now they are changing the crack width also. Earlier code had crack width of 0.2 mm, and now the new code says it is 0.1 mm. And the grade of concrete also they are trying to change, increase. Sir, the main change for us practicing civil engineers is the code from a 94 page, it is shoot up to 512 page. So students will have to remember a lot now. Yeah, there is one more question coming up from Mr. Pavan Fabiani. He is asking, I am BE LLB. Is there any suggestion or arbitration and civil laws?
Yeah, of course, it's a techno-legal regime. I think that is very, very critical and important. And there are very few people, those who have knowledge of civil engineering as well as law. So I think you have very good fortunes in the arbitration industry. Definitely, you will get very good opportunity, very good pay package also in that. If you know both the sides.
Yeah. So I think you are again muted. So please unmute yourself. Yeah. Great. Any more questions? Chat box is not accessible. So if you ask question in that WhatsApp group, I will just take it up for you. Please feel free to ask the questions in the WhatsApp group. I'll take it up for you because it's not opening for me also. There's some technical glitch because of which the chat box is not working.
Can you check up that why the chat box is not open? Please check up that. Or you can indicate the mail ID also of ISSE.
Those who have joined today's session, my request is, keep logged in and please attend future sessions because all the topics cannot be covered, like techno legal aspects, dams, bridges, marine structures, as rightly said by sir. So we'll be having dedicated sessions on one small aspects. So be just have patience and keep connected. So require and you can observe your own progress in if you attend over 1 year, like 12 lectures. If you attend, then there will be a lot of improvement in you students. Any questions? Okay. So please keep typing these questions. I would just like to summarize some of the key points of today's session. So about 97 participants were there. I have just noted down, and people from IIT Chennai, IIT Bombay, COEP, Sardar Patel College of Engineering, VJT, and some of the colleges from Rajasthan and Eastern Maharashtra, they were involved for today's webinar. And sir has nicely enveloped all the domains of civil engineering. Right from he started his session from definition of civil engineering, like roti kapda or makan. So makan ke यहाँ पे आपका civil engineering will start, your scope will start. Then sir has underlined the works of eminent civil engineer Brunel. And then he touched upon certain key aspects like planning, why it is important, designing, then durability of the structures. In durability and materials, he underlined the importance of recycling of the aggregates. And there he also requested you that if you are having some specific topics of research which you are facing in colleges, then you can definitely approach ISSE Mumbai for help. Then sir also highlighted the importance of right planning. And further to this documentation stage, then he moved ahead with the tendering stage. What is there should be the drawing should be ready right at the tender stage. Then what is variation? Then Further moving ahead, he talked about actual construction stage, the importance of PMC, how it can be make or break kind of situation. Then further, sir also gave an importance of the checklist. You should have a regular checklist and you should maintain them. Then moving ahead, sir has spoken about the maintenance and repair phase. The what is the importance of the periodic maintenance. Then strengthening as per today's law, because today's codes, because codes are just changing and students cannot stick to the old codes. Then local municipal corporation laws are changing. Then at the end of the session, sir has spoken about what are the various avenues and opportunities like design, tendering, softwares, research, arbitration, and the unique part was the IAS and IPS officers, where also civil engineers can find their place. And then lastly, sir also spoke about the free BIS website, codes. You can go to these codes and download the copy. You need not to purchase them. So this was the holistic view of the today's session. So if there is anything which someone wants to ask, I'll take a question. Or sir, if you have anything agenda, then we can cover that, or we can wrap up the session. Yeah, there are a few more questions which are coming up. I'll just read them for you. Mr. Nazim is asking, previously asked about tender stage of bridge dam. Yeah, that question we have taken. Then Mr. Avinash Singh has asked, I'm a mechanical engineer working as a sales engineer in a PEB company. I want to learn structural design. Kindly guide me.
Acha. If you want to learn some structural design, then definitely you need to mix some, I think, you can join some of the firms which are doing some structural design, and you have to of course study the course required to do the steel design. So if you talk about the PEB structure, that is again coming under the steel design. So IS 800 is the code for design of steel type of structures. So mechanical engineers also know something about the steel design, but I think this structural design you have to follow IS 800 guidelines. And then if you can work with some initial civil engineer or structural engineer for design phase, I think you can pick it up and you can learn better.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. And I myself personally know some of the mechanical engineers like Mr. Mahajan, who is working with Jason's bearing design. And after being a mechanical engineer, he worked with Western Railways and picked up civil engineering design. Then A.B. Karnik sir, who himself was a civil engineer, and he used to do a lot of mechanical component design. Then my earlier boss, Mr. S.B. Joshi sir, he was a civil engineer, but still is able to do a lot of mechanical. So, and another thing which we can note is our father of soil mechanics. So he himself, Mr. Terzaghi, was a mechanical engineer. So that's a good coincidence. There is another question. Repeat the reference which you have mentioned in PPT for earthquake understanding in some more elaboration. The name is not mentioned by the questioner.
So that is okay. See, if you want to understand the list of the references, you can visit our website, of course. We have just noted the good reference for literature and other websites also, wherein you can get the information. As far as earthquake engineering goes, the code number is 1893 from BIS. And for detailed detailing, it is 13920. These are the codes you have to refer for earthquake engineering part. And the site what I was talking is NICEE. National Information Center for Earthquake Engineering. So this has been developed by IIT Kanpur, and lot of literature and good information about the earthquake resistant structures is available on this website. And there is another site, EERI also, that is American website. So there also you can find a lot of good literature regarding earthquake engineering subject.
Okay, great. Mr. Shamshad is asking a question. Could you please suggest the emerging topic in oil and gas domain? So that comes again to your request, sir, about academic project topics.
Oil and gas. So we have to, of course, consult the subject expert on this specifically, but definitely see oil and gas development, you need transportation of this oil and the gas. So you need some kind of shipping activity for that. Now, for the ship to dock, you need again harbors or jetties. So that again comes under the domain of civil engineers who has to design the jetty structures for that type of application. And there are some oil rigs and platforms which are also built into the sea. So again, civil engineering is coming into picture for designing those type of platforms. Those are oil rigs basically, where you extract oil from that. Okay, so there are different things, and then there is the industry for refining the oil. So you need refineries for that. So that is again a big industrial complex that again someone has to design, build, and then process for this system. Storage tanks, another big field again for oil industry. You need to have big storage tanks for oils, right? When you try to ship the oil from the process plant or you have to ship it to some other destination, temporarily you have to store it, right? Maybe in the harbor or in the place. So these are, I think, some of the parts in oil and gas industries.
Yeah, and to add a few more, like the welding, which in oil and gas they require G1, G2, G5 kind of welding, which is another area of expert in civil as well as mechanical engineering. There are two more questions which are coming up. What are all companies that need GATE qualification? Is it better than other? Mr. Nitin TS has asked this question.
What is the meaning? I do not get the exact question. What exactly he wants to.
Sir, nowadays there are some PSUs and PIUs who conduct who give the job after GATE exam. So if you are GATE qualified, they will give you the job. So he's asking a question that what are all the companies who need GATE qualification, and is it better than other companies who are not recruiting from the GATE?
No, GATE is basically what I understand. Earlier, if I remember it correctly, after your graduation, you have to appear for GATE, right? And based on your score in the GATE, you would get admission to your MTech courses. So that was the basis for your GATE examination. Now, some companies automatically, for screening the candidate, basically they use this kind of test results from the students. How do you judge the student? If you get 10 applications and those who are having good GATE scores, so they will prefer those candidates. So without conducting any special examination for these candidates for screening purpose, I think some companies are putting this GATE score also maybe into their application form. So they are utilizing the score or the marks obtained the GATE examination by the candidate to judge the candidates, I think, the knowledge about the subject. So that's the only thing. Otherwise, it is not compulsory for getting any job as such.
So, Mr. Nitin, I guess your question is addressed. There are few more questions. If possible, can you share that link in the group that uh, he's asking about the earthquake code. So, okay, we'll share the name of
We'll put
the
that.
codes which are there for earthquake. Mr. Ayush Panchal is asking one question. Can Hemant sir suggest some topic for master's thesis in favor of industrial demand?
See, there are different requirements in the industry. As I rightly told you earlier, there's a big question of waste management nowadays, waste management, demolition waste. So when you demolish the structure or demolish the building, it creates a lot of waste. Now, where do you put that waste? So we have to again think about recycling that type of waste. So what kind of recycling mechanisms are there? So that is an nascent stage in our country, unfortunately. People try to dump all this into maybe in the landfill areas or near the creek areas, or they dump it into the sea, which is again a wrong thing to do. But there are definitely material, like say concrete, even if you demolish, you can again grind that concrete back, and recycle aggregates are again can be used in the new concrete. Because see, now sand is becoming scarce and scarce day by day. In the cities, you never get the sand. So that's why people switch to crushed sand nowadays. What is crushed sand? Again, you crush the stone from the quarry or from the mountains, right? And then you get that sand. So since that was sand has vanished, I think slowly the aggregate also will vanish. Once the mountains are no more there, you will not get aggregate also. So the only option remains is whatever is available, we should try to reuse it. So when you demolish the structure, then the concrete can be separated out from that, and that aggregate also can be used. Now I think the IS code, new IS code is again giving the limit how much recycle aggregate you can use in the concrete. So some fraction of the, I think, concrete can be with recycle aggregate. Maybe I don't know the exact percentage, but it is some fraction, 10-15%, something like that. So that you can replace the normal aggregate with the this type of recycle aggregate. So recycling is another, I think, big industry that is going to come up in our country. So you can think about that. if you do some kind of, I think, research on the recycle type of aggregate or recycling material, other building materials also. That is, I think, a good topic.
Yeah, great. And just to inform students that whatever topics you're suggesting or you're asking for the projects, and then whatever understanding ISSE is having with their experts, so we are going to put the potential topic list of topics on the ISSE website. So you are encouraged to pick up your subject from there, and then probably you can directly rope into ISSE or the experts who are mentioned against that topic. So it will be coming up very soon on the website. So just remain logged into ISSE website. Yeah, one more question. Probably that should be a last question because we are overshooting the time. So, Mr. Bhavesh has asked, can you please give some reference for renewable energy structures like analysis and design of tubular steel wind tower under extreme wind and gust and earthquake loads?
Yeah, that is another subject by itself. So there are different type of structures under renewable energy. One part is the your farms, basically the solar farms it is called. So there you need to have very light structures because it should be again economical, and it is covering lot of area, ground area, maybe acres of land that is being covered. So generally people are using tubes, or maybe the cold form sections are, I think, better in those type of structures. Those are being used right now, and generally those are coming in galvanized type of variety. So this is another field again, cold form sections with the galvanizing that has been used for this type of solar farms, which are the structures. Now for wind farms, there are specialized structures. So a simple structure cannot be rated as a wind turbine because that has got sufficient height. So you need to have the proper design for that type of tower. It is a tower of maybe 30, 40, 60-meter height, right? And then it is having the generator on the top and a massive blades for that wind turbine type things. So these are the special type of structure. There is a code available to design this type of structures. And nowadays, some of the countries like China and Britain, they have these wind farms in the sea. So these structures are not only put on the land, but they are putting on the sea. So again, to make a foundation for this type of structures is a big challenge. Some of the towers are floating type of foundations. So that is another big challenge because they can move it now. We don't have to anchor it anywhere in the sea. So that is another challenging part for the wind turbine is concerned. But as far as small, I think wind towers are concerned, these are like lattice towers. If you talk about the small uh, wind type of turbine, which is fit on the building, maybe, yeah. So those are also coming up, but they are not that popular right now because of the cost, I suppose. Like when they get popularized, as the cost is coming down, more and more production we can see. So there is a hybrid renewable energy project nowadays going on with the solar as well as with the wind. So whenever there is no sunlight, but the wind is there, you can still generate the power. That is the idea. But the small towers and small wind turbines are not yet popular or not, I think, easily accessible or economical right now, what I say. So you cannot see much more structure like that. But solar wind farms are very, very common. Rooftop buildings, solar application is also very common to all the building, residential buildings, commercial buildings also. So you can cut down your electricity bill to zero. Practically, there is again a scheme going on by central government. So they give a lot of subsidy for that. Up to 3 kilowatt, you can put the solar plant on your rooftop. I think 78,000 is the subsidy that government is giving. And cost of this plant is about 1.8 lakhs. So I think 80,000 is shared by the government. You have to just spend 1 lakh rupees, right? So the recover cost maybe a 3 or 4 years, 5 years. You can recover your money, and then next 25 years you get free electricity. So that is the potential of, I think, solar energy in our country. So people should go for that renewable energy.
That's something wonderful, which I was also not aware. Great. Uh, yeah, any more questions? Or should we wrap up the session?
Yeah, you can wrap up now. We are running out of
Yeah.
time now.
Yeah, sir, if you have anything more to say about this activity or topics or student chapters, then please make your announcement.
No, I would encourage all the students to join this student group, student chapter, which now Vivek is taken up that as a challenge, and he will try to emulate this on every fourth Saturday, 11 o'clock, and we'll try to have some good speaker on the particular topic. So you can learn something out of, I think, the experts. And then you can keep asking questions. You can suggest some topics for discussions or for research also to our people. We will also try to suggest what is required by the industry. And there has to be some interaction, I feel, between the industry professionals and the students. So that was the main aim of this webinar and the discussion. So there has to be more interactive sessions, right? Rather than someone is only talking and others are listening. So let us have some good interaction. That's what I feel. Share your experience. We'll try to publish that in our quarterly journal also. We have the journal published. So whatever experience you have, case studies or any suggestion, good suggestions, that is also welcome, definitely. So we'll have better interaction. Thank you very much for joining today's session.
Great, great. Thank you, everyone. This was directly from the speaker and who is the president of ISSE. So please let us honor that and regularly approach to ISSE. You can publish, you can download the various reports from there, or you can purchase some available books which are there on earthquake engineering and plates and shares. So there's so many topics on which the books are there on ICC website. So with this note, I think we announce the formal closure of today's session. So we will meet next month on 4th Saturday at 11 a.m. The topic will be announced to you in advance, and please feel free to give the feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.